I did it. Makes it sound like a confession or something, which I guess it kind of is. I bought a new motorized vehicle, more on the motorized part in a little bit. And this is a lot of firsts for me. My first new vehicle, my first EV, and first car I comfortably and confidently let drive me around when there isn't a road enticing enough for me to take the reins myself. But I've quickly found out this car isn't just fast from a dig, but also chucks into corners like something 4,400 pounds ought not to be able to do, and also has two forces of braking, which came into play to save my bacon bits as a spirited drive almost turned into an informal meeting of an out-of-town oblivious NPC family that wasn't sure what lane they pulled into, let alone what planet they were cruising on. But that's okay, because this is the safest vehicle on the road, not just for families going 15 miles an hour under the speed limit, but also for a city zipper dual motor ripper. Shoot, let's go second. So engine braking's okay. It's one continuous pull, which is pretty sick. It's consistent. You don't have to worry about missing a shift, or altitude's a little off, or my turbo's not really getting full boost right now, or things that I used to say. Give her a couple reps, boys. Before you start tap dancing on the comment section like you're stomping grapes in Napa Valley wine country or something, making some hate juice. I do still love gas vehicles. Having an electric daily driver in the long run through ownership will actually save you enough to where you could buy a very respectable project car off Facebook Marketplace, turn that into a dank build, maybe a little 350Z with 7 different colored body panels that you can turn into a drift rig, you know, the old ripstick on it and whatnot. Or get yourself a nice Fox body Mustang to really confuse your neighbors because you have a Tesla that you daily drive, and then you're also sitting out there in a cammed Fox body or something. Keep them guessing. All theatrics aside, in this video we're going to cover multiple topics. The first one, the biggest one, why the hell did I buy a Tesla? The second one is going to be why this specific model. Why the Model Y, and why, oh why, not the Juniper, which is now, it's here, the Juniper edition. And not to spoil anything, this is the exact vehicle that I wanted, the last model year of this body style of Model Y performance. In this color, the darkest stealth gray that they've ever had. It looks delicioso. Also, it is ceramic coated. It's been glazed, but I will thoroughly cover my decision to not wait to get the Juniper body style, or generational revision, I should say, because there are a lot of changes that I'll talk about. There are some things that I wish that this one had that the new Juniper does. Then we're going to cover warranty and reliability, couple of stories of high mileage batteries, because this is truly one of the perks or benefits of going with any EV, but especially Teslas, because they were one of the first, so they've had a lot of time, a lot of foreskin in the game to get their stuff together when it comes to battery reliability in the long term. The required maintenance cycles, things like changing out your HEPA cabin air filter and stuff, if you're doing all the proper maintenance cycles like you ought to, brother, like you should as an owner, a responsible owner of a nice vehicle of any manufacturer, it's really inexpensive. There's a big upfront cost of getting the damn thing, but everything from tax incentives in certain states because it's a damn electric, to the big one, gas savings. I'm basically driving this thing for free, and that's not some kind of weird exaggeration I'll explain later. But also the lack of general maintenance, pulleys, belts, hoses, a slipping transmission, all non-issues. Then I'm going to talk about what I've done with the car, which isn't a whole hell of a lot. I can't be like, well, I've got a downpipe on this thing and a stage 2 tune. All unnecessary. This is the fastest vehicle that I've ever owned. Thinking about the acceleration is getting me mind blown.
Jesus! We're hauling ass. Damn, that guy's fast.
And I've heard Tesla's party trick is only from a zero, from a dig, from a stop. You'd be surprised. From like a 45, 60 roll even, it's still got a lot of punch.
Depends on whether you're a lib or a right-wing nut. What? God, you can't say that.
Well, heat coming out of there too. What's going on here? So as promised, we're busting out with the first section. Get ready, sucker. Why a Tesla? Teslas are the best EVs on the road, hands down. That comes down to a couple of factors. A big old bold claim there, but I'm going to back it up. First of all, range is not even a thing that Tesla owners think about. Most users for daily driving just plug in their garage like you would do with a cell phone in your bedroom. You're all topped off to a recommended range that you set in your cell phone app, and you're good to go. Unlike a gas car, your climate's already set for you. You can have it running in your closed garage. I'm getting way ahead of myself, just really glazing and sucking this car. But if you do want to take road trips, they have the best network with the superchargers in comparison to Electrify America, where most of the ports are broken. People have been sucking on the nozzles just to feel a little zap, like a 9-volt battery, except times a billion.
I'm too weak. Oh, don't kill me, please.
And the way it works, when you go to do a road trip, it'll show you on your map, boom, hit this supercharger, and it tells you in real time, this is how many pumps are being taken right now, which there's always a vacant one. But I guess if you're in an urban area where there's a shitload of Teslas that are using them, you could just play a video game on your center console screen, just Bluetooth the controller to it and pass the time that way. Also, if you're into speed, they are the best price to performance, hands down. I was looking at like the Porsche Taycan and Macan, and nope. Price to performance wise, the Teslas just walk all up and down on them. Also, if we're looking at gas cars, there are Ferraris and Lamborghinis and Porsches that have similar 0 to 60 times of 3.5. Top speed of 155s, meh, but you got to consider that this is a gosh darn crossover SUV thing that is very comfortable and very nice to live with. And the last reason why Teslas are the best EVs, and probably why they are now selling the most popular car in America with the Model Y, it's because they approach building a car completely different. They go software first, and they handle all of their software. So if there's a problem, like a recall, a major issue, or just like a new feature they want to add, they can do it over the air with software updates. Other EVs that do software updates, it's handled by a third-party IT jiggity jank company. I'm doing this with my fingers right now because it's just so stupid the way it's all handled. And it just reflects in every single aspect of not only the drive, but just sitting in the vehicle, the things you can do on the touchscreen. The autopilot is not comparable to any other vehicle. I wouldn't trust any other car to drive me around the way I'm trusting this vehicle. The first time I used autopilot, I was all up on the wheel and oh god, this thing's gonna plow me into a pillar. It has now drove me and my family, my loved ones who I care about deeply, on the freeway, through intersections, parking lots at 70 miles an hour. We weren't doing 70 miles an hour in the parking lot. Those are two separate driving events where auto control, or FSD, full suck me driving, was doing its thing. Also along those lines, things like auto park, summon. I don't use it often, but you can pull out your phone and summon your car to you, and it just pulls up to the curb of the store that you're leaving, puts on the hazards, and goes ta-da, literally out of the outside speakers, so everyone looks over at you. You can turn that off, but why the hell would you? You know what I'm saying? It is an $8,000 option, FSD, or full self-driving, which there's an entire channel called AI Driver who's been covering for years the patches and updates, the iterations slowly getting better of the FSD, and he mentioned during his latest video, like, man, I might be out of a job pretty soon. This is getting so crazy good now that like I have to really try to stump it. Kooky situation up in the, Berkeley or San Francisco Hills shitbag area to drive in. So to sum up, I have my keynotes over here. I ranted and raved much more than I should have, but that's okay because I think I was going in the right direction, like the company Tesla is, despite the fact that Elon Musk, his neural chip's been a little too overclocked, if you ask me. Some of the things he posts on social media, like I want to impregnate Taylor Swift. Just because you can get away with saying things on the internet doesn't mean that you should, especially when you're the leader, the head honcho of two pretty big companies that are doing some pretty big things like SpaceX. I'm also really into the space race, so I think what SpaceX is doing is really cool. For example, if you haven't seen the clip of the chopstick catch, that was fucking crazy. He needs to restrain himself. Like Kanye needs to have a team that manages his social media for him and whatnot. Elon needs the same thing, but he's so far against that he even bought his own social media company and changed it to a weird name so he could say whatever he wants, and he's utilizing that. And it's making his companies look stupid. As somebody that now drives a Tesla. Can you stop saying stupid shit on the internet, please? But the reasons that Tesla is the best EV company is going to be software first, vehicle second, but coincidentally, the vehicle driving experience is also incredibly rewarding as well. Their supercharger network is better than any of the other competitors. The self-driving, the FSD, is uncomparable. Why this model specifically? Well, I needed something that could tow, and I don't like the styling of the X, not to mention it is substantially more expensive, as were the styling of the Y, these nice bulbous wide fender flares. The side I've heard described as blobby. There's some sculpting going on there, which is for aero efficiency, gets better range, but it also makes it look fucking sick. More on that during the comprehensive review of the vehicle. When the light catches it just right, it is a good looking vehicle. I also think the Model S, the original, the big saloon, looks good, especially if it's the plaid, because you know that sucker's fast as all shit. But I needed something that could tow because I have a PWC, a jet ski. Technically it's a Sea-Doo, which is not a jet ski. It's a stupid thing that only people on the internet would care about. In real world land, call it, that don't live online.
Well, technically, a jet ski is only gonna be Sea-Doos belong in the bottom of the ocean, as do Teslas.
I'm sure that's probably a comment that's being typed right now. My hair is rambunctious this evening, and I couldn't put myself together for this video, but as it is, I'm going to be overlaying a lot of B-roll anyway, so who gives a gall darn? Who gives a hootenanny? Smack my fanny. So I needed something that could tow, that I could afford, that didn't look like an egg. The Model Y makes sense in the model lineup. Why not wait for the Juniper? I saw some prototypes and concepts, and I was thinking to myself, ooh, I don't really like the styling, but I'm gonna wait because generally concept vehicles do sway a little bit from the final production units. My God, did I make the right decision? So I've seen it now. I've put corneas. The side actually hasn't been changed very much, which is good because I think the side looks nice. But the Juniper Edition headlights and taillights are terrible in my personal opinion. Of course, looks are subjective, but I'm subjecting. It definitely looks like Tesla tried to make it look like a mini Cybertruck with the headlights that wrap around, and then the taillights totally remind me of an old Buick or Mercury or something that was a grandma's car, but then her grandson got it and threw 24s on it and turned it into a donk and took it to a sideshow takeover and crashed it. And you know what I'm saying? It does not look good. And also the gear selector stock to where now you swipe on the screen to select gears. The new steering wheel not having the traditional Tesla badge that I actually think looks really cool. I got a little 3-piece blackout kit on Amazon that does the front, rear, and steering wheel covers over the chrome one. But I like the OG badge. I don't like the new Tesla on the steering wheel spelled out. And the performance variant won't even be available for a hot while. Founders Edition. And as we've seen with all these early adopted versions, these variants, these, hey, I need this right now. I want to be one of the first people in this. The biggest example of this being with the Cybertruck with some major issues. The recall where the accelerator pedal's getting stuck to 100 in a vehicle that weighs 2 Hauser tanks, basically. Leaving the mall at full speed, barreling through a concrete wall. But I really didn't want to pay more for the non-performance variant when the cosmetics or styling have taken a step backward in my personal opinion. And I'm not trying to piss off or upset any Juniper fans, anybody that's put down some money on them or anything. Model Y, which in my opinion makes the most sense in the model lineup, it's hella versatile. It's a crossover SUV.
Cameron Diaz to Jay-Z.
So it's easy to park, compact, sporty drive like a car, but it's a hatchback, tons of room in the back. It can tow up to 3,500 pounds, which isn't a lot, enough for a jet ski or small boat. So that's why no Juniper for me. I don't like it. I don't think it looks good. There's a couple of aspects or features of the Model Y Juniper that I really wish I had in mind. You have a little section in the boot in the rear hatchback area to put down the power seats, but that's just to drop down the seats. You have to physically pick them back up. And in order to do that, you pretty much have to walk around to the rear seats, push them back up that way. Where the new version, the Juniper, has power up seats as well. Also, there is accent lighting, RGB, customizable accent lighting. That's, I wish I had that. I rarely have passengers, period, definitely in the back seat, but in that rare occasion, it is nice to have that new rear screen for HVAC controls and entertainment, as opposed to vents and USB-C ports. Having said that, anyone that rides in the back of your Tesla is probably likely just going to be staring out of the big ass sunroof or staring at the big tablet center console screen trying to figure out what all the buttons and doodads do. That lamp puts out 0 heat because it's LED, but my dog is treating it like a heat lamp or something. Good girl. As for warranty and reliability, we'll cover the warranty first. That's going to be popping up on screen here. And as you can see, the terms periodically are long enough to where if you're leasing the sucker for 3 years, or you're somebody that likes to finance a vehicle and then you keep that sucker for around 5 to 6 years, maybe that 100K mile mark, and then trade it up for something new, you're going to be within warranty. We are starting to see reports, substantiated, legitimate reports of owners of some extremely high mileage, original battery, original motor. There's a gentleman that runs a taxi business and his 2 workhorses are Model S's that he bought way back, like the OG ones. And then as far as reliability, there's not a lot of moving parts here. Things like belts and hoses and pulleys, and go pop the hood on a Tesla.
Couldn't even tow that across the finish line.
No fish. Pop the hood.
Pop the hood?
Pop the hood.
No shit.
And what did I tell you?
Not a lot of the traditional parts to break on a Tesla. And also, I personally have never seen a Tesla broken down on the road. There's not a lot of Teslas in my area, period. So I don't get to see them a whole heck of a lot other than when I'm at the dealership or something. I've never seen one on the side of the road sputtered out. And if I did, I would immediately think, wow, that guy forgot to charge. And if you do have any issues, everything is handled from the application. So everything from buying the vehicle to pairing it up for your initial first drive, every day I check it to see the charge stats, check the cabin temperature for funsies. When you park it, you have cameras all the way around. You can see if people give you door dings, probably get their license plate, take them to small claims court, waste both your time. No, but in all seriousness, if it gets stolen or something,
both of them are wired up like I never seen before.
Wired into the actual car itself, the brain, the wiring harness, location pinpoint service where I can see, yep, this is me laying in bed in the back of my house. This is my car parked in the garage. Your vehicle is going to be reliable for you. It's highly unlikely it's going to get stolen. The whole car is a big old do not steal me deterrent because it has cameras all around it. Somebody might key it because people don't like Teslas. They get kind of angry sometimes when they see them. They're like, ah, fucking Elon Musk is a C word and a B word and a D word, and get my biggest key, Jenna.
This ain't bad, right?
Yeah, it is. That scratch make it real ugly. Make you not even want to drive it.
Okay.
Please don't damage my vehicle, sir or ma'am. I worked pretty hard to get it, and I do like it a lot. So, fuck off with it.
It was tough for me, so back off!
I'm not gonna get too deep in the weeds, bust out my machete, and start hacking this jungle down in this video because I want to save a little bit of content for the actual review. I'm basically driving for free. I don't really drive much. I work from home. This is pretty much a pleasure vehicle, not a commuter. It's my only vehicle, my daily driver. But I wanted to do a little research to make sure I wasn't overpaying or charging at a time that was more expensive. And sure enough, there is off-peak hours, which are weekends, holidays, and then weekdays are going to be at night from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's kind of the ideal time to charge your vehicle unless you work nights and your schedule's flipped, in which case you do have your own time slot or bracket, off-peak hours, I should say, which is 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's considered off-peak. You could charge during the day as well. So you've got those 2 chunks of time during the day, evening that are off-peak. It's much cheaper to charge during those times. But there's also a program the FPL does. Excuse me, I'm backing up here. I apologize for that. Where you can charge EVs at any time for a set price, but I'm actually spending less than that. I'm spending about like $14 a month. I don't drive much, but when I do, I'm ringing the shit out of it. The app gives you gas savings, which is of course going to be more the more you drive. So if you have a long commute, then you're going to be saving an absolute fortune. You're going to feel like you're pretty much driving the car for free. You just plug it in during off-peak hours. I'll talk more about the charging solutions, methods with the authorized Tesla chargers. I do have experience with both the travel pack, I guess we'll call it, the trickle charger. There's 2 schnozzles, like a 440 volt, and then there's a regular 3-prong wall plug trickle charger, which will get the job done just really slowly. And then you can pay an electrician to come to your home and install the wall connector, which is what I would recommend. As for safety, I don't have any children. I do have a dog. I don't want her to get injured, and I don't want to hurt myself when I'm driving. I do have a flawless driving record, despite me driving like I'm young Mario Andretti safely. I'm not somebody that's diving in and out of lanes like some pissed off teenager. I have a machete machine that I want to enjoy. Maybe push it to its limits occasionally, but within the realm of reason and in a safe manner. Probably because when you're driving aggressively or a spirited drive, you're very attentive, and usually when people get in accidents, it's because they're not paying attention. Speaking of that, your car is paying attention when you're not, and even when you are, for example, you're doing one of those spirited drives, looking at traffic this way and you're getting ready to do a lane change this way, but a car way up there is getting ready to go into the lane that you're getting ready to change into. Your car is gonna go
Wait, are you braking
even though you had no idea that there was an impending crash. Furthermore than that, the vehicle is very pedestrian safe. So if you're going through something like a residential area where kids might run out, or you're in a shopping center, it sees it all, it smells it all, and it'll lock up the brakes automatically. It won't just warn you, it will take control for you if you try and back it into your garage like a moron. So having a safe vehicle is great, whether you're a family man or woman and you've got 7 snot-nosed ragamuffins in the back slinging Cheerios at you, or you're a dual motor ripper city zipper. You miss things on the road. You know, certain hazards might jump out that your car is going to see even when you don't. So it's a very safe vehicle. Volvos used to be super safe. Tesla's just shouldered the shit out of them.
We ain't got any Volvos here. There is a Volvo here, I know. They told me to
Just wait a minute, wait. What I'm trying to tell you is there ain't no Volvos here.
Not only safe in a collision if you do actually unfortunately get into a crash, but there's an entire YouTube channel dedicated to Tesla's taking control, either when you're in autopilot or when you're driving. It will snag the wheel from you. You can overpower it. If you're just loose-limped cruising, not paying attention, the car will kind of like move you out of the way, save your bacon. I still love gas cars. There's 3 aspects. I'm not going to spoil them here because this is its own video coming up in the near future, so make sure you subscribe. There are 3 aspects that gasoline, petrol, motors, traditional vehicles blow electric vehicles out of the water in my personal opinion. Other than those 3 aspects, EVs are superior in every aspect, clearly the future. And the long-term ownership of the EV as your main vehicle, your daily driver, that money saved, not buying gas just by plugging in at your home. Also, if you didn't get a performance variant like I did, they're relatively inexpensive to insure because they are the safest vehicle on the road, and there shouldn't really be any unforeseen maintenance. Scheduled, planned Tesla stuff, like change the HEPA cabin filter, so if you use biohazard mode, it'll filter the smokes and poisons better. But with that extra coinage, those shekels, those ducats that you saved by owning the EV instead of a gas car as your daily driver, you can buy yourself respectable running project car off Facebook Marketplace. Turn that sucker into a drift rig, maybe put the ripstick on it so you can get slideways. I meant to say sideways, but yeah, slideways for sure. You be sliding with it, whatever you want to do. Make a dune buggy or something. A project car where you can still get the smell of the petrol, you can rip the gears, you can get that nice sound. Things that you miss with an EV. So what I've done to my vehicle, there is not a whole heck of a lot here that you can do to a Tesla, like performance wise. The only 2 things that I've done to the vehicle and where I'm most likely going to stop while you're ahead there, Buster, is getting the windows tinted, of course. I tried to get this on the day I received the vehicle, asked Tesla if there was something they could do. Oh, well. That noise that I just made there, I am making an entire video about my process receiving the vehicle, as Pensacola Tesla is just so understaffed, and their facility, that is the biggest hindrance right there. They are getting a new facility in I think 3 to 6 months. From what I've heard talking to the employees, it also seems like that's been dangled in front of their face like a carrot from corporate, and I don't know how long it's really going to be before they move into their legit showroom, their Tesla dealership, if you will, because as of now it's a service center that also works as where you buy a Tesla like a dealership, and it is just so much going on under one roof. It's not a pleasurable experience experience for people trying to get service on their vehicle. It's not pleasurable for people trying to buy a new vehicle. It's not pleasurable for people taking delivery that have already bought. By golly, I do not think the customers know how you have vehicles stored in the back of the shop. It looked like a scene out of Last of Us. Run down, urban decay. Joel, I'm looking for supplies, Ellie. Look what they done to the Cybertruck. Again, a whole other episode on this channel. I call my videos episodes apparently because I'm a big deal. Make sure you subscribe so you do not miss it. I got the windows tinted. Nothing on the top because it's already really well tinted. I also got the vehicle ceramic coated. I was going to do it myself as I do have about 5 years of auto detailing experience. Rated ceramic coat that does go on your Carfax. So if and when you go to sell the vehicle, it should increase your resale value a little bit. Just saying that you've had the paint protected. Also, it is going to be a garage kept vehicle, very low mileage. So this thing is going to be like the cherriest, most mint, delicious kiwi, a succulent peach for the next owner. The white interior also adds about $1,000 to the build, but is definitely recommended. Not only does it look so much better in my personal opinion, if you're concerned about cleaning these seats, you have a pet, a big old dog, or you've got kids. You got Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo in your back seat with a full pack of crayons, and you're scared because you got that white interior. Don't be. Fear doesn't need to be present. They are the easiest to clean material I've ever seen. They're vegan leather with some kind of a coating, and that coating makes it to where you just take a damp cloth and just zip, wipes off things that you would think, oh, these seats are fucking toasted. I'm done. How many grand is it going to cost to reupholster these things? None. Just get yourself a damp cloth. It literally wipes off. That's also what I was thinking. Unlike a gas car, it doesn't matter if I'm doing back-to-back pulls, acceleration in this thing or anything. It's not really gonna degrade anything faster. That's another thing. It's just consistent. The performance, and that shouldn't really taper off. Shouldn't need to pour in some fuel injector cleaner or get the spark plugs cleaned out. Oh shit, I just blew my head gasket. I came to the conclusion that this is the exact vehicle that I wanted the last model year of this body generation. At the end of 23, early 24, there was a major revision, interior parts, better fit and finish, better sound dampening from road noise, just a whole bunch of interior niceties. And this next point isn't going to apply to many Tesla drivers, but if you drive your vehicle at the absolute limit, whether you're doing a track day or super supremely spirited drives, maybe some street racing or something like that, we'll keep it on the down low, I'm not gonna tell. The new Juniper version apparently has 50% more comfortable ride, less feeling from the road, softer dampers, rebound adjusts, rate changed, and all this adds up to every word that I've heard there, leaning more towards comfort, less towards an engaging driving experience, and less sharp handling. That was something I really liked from the Model Y. Definitely the performance where you're slammed an inch on stiffer sprung springs, you can really chuck that sucker into a corner and you'll surprise yourself and everyone that just witnessed what happened. The new Model Y is going to have, in my opinion, significantly more body roll because they're going for that 50% more comfortable and soft approach, which does make sense considering the majority of Model Ys on the road are going to either be the standard missionary position joint or the long range, I've got a family, don't care about speed one. And I personally have always really liked this particular body style. I don't know if this generation has a cool nickname or anything, but looks sharp, clean.
What do you think, Lance?
It's an amazing machine.